G'day everybody and welcome back to another comic review here on the Fortress of Solitude. This time we'll be checking out Batman Superman World's Finest issue 15 by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. The World's Finest find themselves battling the Ultramorpho, a monstrous amalgamation of Amazo's tech, Metamorpho's powers, and the Metal Men's abilities, which has now created a being who can make Kryptonite burn with the intensity of a sun and just hit goddamn hard, as Superman and Robin soon find out. Luckily, Batman, clad in the revived Metal Men, arrive to help out, and Waid does a very slick callback to Alex Ross's series Justice, where the Justice League got some help from the Metal Men and ended up being covered in them so they could be armored while fighting the villain. And as someone who actually reread that series recently, all I can say is that I was quite delighted by it. Waid also continues bringing in some classic DC Comics characters, this time with the Metal Men, giving them a cool and interesting role in the story, as well as an actual stake in it. They aren't just turning up because the fight was near them in the same area sort of thing. They were targeted by the villains who have taken their abilities, so they have just as much a stake in the story as Metamorpho. Also, just like Batman, this gives Superman a chance to dress in the Metal Men as well and get a cool looking new containment suit. On top of the Metal Men, we learn that thanks to what the villains are up to, this means many of the DCU's robots on Earth are being controlled, or trying to be controlled in some way, leading to a neat sequence with the Doom Patrol and Robot Man fighting the Control, and even the goddamn Challengers of the Unknown making a brief appearance during a battle with Ultramorpho. And they aren't the only ones, we also get to see the awesome threesome, characters from the 1960s Aquaman series that no one but Mark Waid even remembers. Also, pro tip, don't go googling awesome threesome. All of these characters and the action really let Dan Mora go crazy with cool updated designs for some of these lesser known characters, and some neat new ones with the Metal Men armored around Batman and Ultramorpho, with him really channeling the Jack Kirby-ness of the Challengers of the Unknown with just the really zany 60s and 70s designs that he is very famous for. The story arc is really cracked open this issue as well, as we learn that Professor Ivo isn't actually behind any of this like the heroes thought. Amazo himself is, or should I say New Mazo, an absolute unit of an upgraded Amazo who is done being used and decides to be the one using people for a change. I thoroughly commend Waid for giving the character some actual development, as he always is just used as like the punching bag for the Justice League, or something early on in a story that the heroes have to overcome to get to the actual villain who's been using him as sort of a lackey. But shifting him around and having him be the one pulling the strings is a lot of fun. He's using his new adaptation powers to finally adapt into a proper supervillain. This leads to the reason why he's doing all this, and it's to make a sort of sweatshop operated by some of Earth's best and brightest, like Professor Ivo, Will Magnus, Dr. Cyber, and even the Bug-Eyed Bandit, who are all there to make a new army for New Mazo to conquer Earth with. This all sounds like so much is happening and being crammed together in these last two issues, but damn it if Waid and Mora don't make it work somehow, balancing all of these branching storylines super well and never forgetting the book is about Batman and Superman, but also using the subtitle, World's Finest, not as a label to describe both of these two heroes like it usually is, but all of the heroes involved in the book. World's Finest now means all the heroes here on Earth, and I think that's a pretty neat evolution of that moniker. There is a caveat here though, since the story began as just a Metamorpho murder mystery and has kind of blown past that and become a full-fledged sort of end of the world domination plot, which is a shame since I would have really liked it to stay a slightly smaller whodunit mystery thriller involving Earth's more interesting and unique heroes and villains. But at least Waid made the jump to the world-ending threat in kind of an organic way, involved all these characters in really interesting plots and gave them something not outside of their wheelhouses, changed just enough to make it interesting, and he's having an absolute blast with it and just having so much fun with it and letting us have so much fun with it. Mark Waid and Dan Mora's World's Finest issue 15 really broke open the storyline and expanded the scope of it a lot, introducing a few cool new villains while digging up some really obscure DC characters and putting them to good use. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. And once again, thank you so much for joining me here today. Remember to like and subscribe, and hey, have a good day.